Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Welcome back everybody, let's take a look at the Bitcoin market. So today I suppose that we need more to prepare some kind of the psychological or sentiment analysis on the market rather than technical. Although on the technical side you also could see some interesting patterns are forming. But first let's recall back to this fake news concerning improvement of the BlackRock ETF on last week. You can see the reaction when the news had been released and it was reported that this was fake and market returned right back down. The question is, from the sentiment point of view and psychological point of view, let's imagine some really epic event on some market, stock market, Forex, gold market or something of that sort. When this epic event happens, what usually is going on the market? It's showing unstoppable action in one direction, maybe even for the few sessions. With the minor interruptions, maybe some short-term pullbacks on intraday charts, but in general this is thrusting and long-lived performance. On the Bitcoin market, we've got to jump just for the 5,000 or even smaller. So let's take a look. It was around 27, it was right to the 30. It's even just for the 10%. Yes, the news have been cancelled, but it hasn't happened immediately. So some few hours has passed until this information have appeared. But with all this stuff, we haven't got any thrusting action. This was just a reaction for the 3,000 Bitcoin. How we could treat it from the psychological point of view? Because as the fans of ETF adoption tells that once it will be approved, the big money will flow into the Bitcoin and will increase the capitalization of this market for the few times, just because of the assets under management of the big companies stands around 13 trillions, together Fidelity, Templeton, BlackRock and others. So if even some decimal points of the assets will be invested in the Bitcoin, the market should just explode, right? So it suggests that reaction here has to be significantly stronger. Since we haven't got it, this is just my opinion. So since we haven't got it, it means that the performance that we see here is purely speculative games. This is just the speculators have shaken the market with the upper direction. There was no real money inflow in this performance. And that in turn, if we will consider it in some perspective, of the real adoption and approval of the ETF funds. This just tells you that when it will be approved, we should not expect some really big impact on the market. And hardly this will happen, because by the speculator activity, you could see that this news already is worked out. I would tell more. Let's suggest even that Bitcoin will rise for just 10,000, 15,000. With the rates about the 6%, are you ready to buy the Bitcoin for the 50,000? What you will get for this money? It's not bearing interest-bearing assets. With inflation around 5%, it's really very, well, it's raising some doubts on the really necessity to keep this in your portfolio. And I think that many investors are asking this question. So that's what my thoughts about the recent performance. I suggest that if ETF will be approved, hardly we will get any significant reaction in the market, because ETF is just a tool of investment. It doesn't change the valuation of the background asset, underlying asset. So speaking about the technical side, now we've got very unpleasant moment for the bulls. If we combine together this event that has happened with the overall shape that we have here, the hand and shoulders that we discussed recently, we could get the bearish grabber. If we will get the bearish grabber, it suggests the taking out of this low, so market will just keep dropping, completing these hand and shoulders, and it might be keep going down below this area. Yes, of course, the hand shorts could fail. That's another scenario. But currently, whatever will happen, we should keep an eye on these head and shoulders, and particularly speaking, in the nearest time, we have to keep an eye on this grabber. So first task is to see whether it will be confirmed or not. That's the primary object right now. When you take a look at the daily chart, you can see that market has completed the XOP on the daily chart that we have. Now stands below the 29 resistance and showing the pullback. So here we have nothing interesting. On the 4-hour time frame chart, market right now stands in the confidence support. And to make the decision on the trading and a direction, currently it would be better to wait for a close of the week. When the week will be closed and we will know the price, we will see whether the grabber had been formed or not. If we will get the bearish grabber, it means that we could use this downside swing for potential taking of the short position on some pullback, for example, because downward action could continue. Currently, we can't see something really special. So after this spike, we see some kind of routing bottom, routing top around it, but it brings no significant clarity. So even with this, some kind of the hand shorts is forming here, something. But when we will see the closing price of the week, so it might be really makes sense, and we could use even this maybe pattern for taking the short position. So our conclusion is that recent reaction first shows that the weakness of this event is that this event definitely overvalued just by the reaction. So this is our view. Second, for taking the position, we need to get the confirmation and see what will happen with the weekly close. Appearing of the grabber suggests that we will get the bearish context and we will have to watch for taking the short position on the next week. That's especially, well, important just because on the background of the rising US interest rates. That's definitely the headwind factor for Bitcoin as well.